And for the sake of the fact that their FDA and every which whatever does not like us to say certain things, we won't say like the names of things, but I'm going to give you a ton of information. And if it's too much or you have questions, let me know. And also if you need me to copy and paste it to you, that's why I have Notepad. All right, so welcome. This is the Immune Boosting Zoom, and we do this every Tuesday-ish. Right now it's on Tuesdays. You never know when it's going to happen later. It might change, but right now it's Tuesdays, 9 a.m. and about 30 minutes, 25, 30 minutes, we dedicate to a specific topic. And today is all about boosting your immune system. And so I thought, oh, I got a cold this week. I wonder why. Oh, I was under a lot of stress. That's the first thing we're going to talk about. When we have a ton of stress, what happens to our body? Our immune system lowers. And so I could give you probably the perfect example of this. If you've ever known someone who had like a really, really deep cry, like, oh my gosh, like maybe they lost someone that they loved or something really bad happened and they just like let it all out, almost always they get sick right after. And that is like that tremendous amount of emotional and physical stress that is on your body. And what happens during that time? All of the nutrients that are in your body are depleted. It's called, like, they used to sell things called stress tabs, like like your stress took all the nutrients out, put back your vitamins. Is kind of that idea. And that is where eating really well and having high quality vitamins during the stressful times in your life is so important, to put those nutrients back in there. There are We could go on and on. There's a whole nother call about nutrition and supplementation, so I'm not going to go into that deeply. It's just recognizing that the food that we eat isn't always the best, even if we're trying to eat well. In our market of the American culture, everything is like mass produced, so the nutrient density has become extremely low in foods, as though we aren't even getting what we think we're getting half the time. So if we can supplement that with a high quality nutrient supplement pack like the Lifelong Vitality, or any really high quality bioavailable supplement, you're going to be giving your body back what's being depleted. So that's one thing. Along with that is, for me, and I try to help my kids do this. I have two that'll do it and two that fight me. One's too young. Um, Journaling, gratitude journal. So like you might be like, this is an immune boost. This is an immune boost. Well, what are you talking about, Crystal? If we can decrease stress in any form, we're going to be boosting our immune system. So when I say journal, I'm not a journaler. I am a dotter. So it could be a dot and like one word, whatever helps you to remember or to release whatever's happening in your mind. So if you have like ADD or have a lot of things on your plate, making a list makes the weight of that and all the thoughts that are pounding around in your brain minimized. It really does help. And it also keeps you focused and you get things done, and then you have like a success in the end of the day. So you can either do it in the night or early in the morning. That's the best time, before or after everything is busy. And just jot down like 5 things and circle the 3 things you have to get done, or like write down one thing you're super grateful for. And don't say my dog. Find something new every day. All right. The next thing is, there are products that I'll talk to you about, but overall, sleep, making sure you're having good sleep. So typically when we're stressed also, we don't sleep well or we sleep too much. So it could be both spectrums, right? You want to sleep more because you're feeling down and you start to get depressed. And so there's a counter to that. So we want to make sure we're going to bed at the same time, turning screens off an hour ahead of time, and paying attention to what we're doing in that last hour. Are we reading a book, or are we watching a very violent TV show? Are we staring at TikTok for an hour? Like there's things that are going to benefit us, and there's things that, hey, would I let my kids do this at night? Think that way. Like, would you be letting someone young do this? If not, probably it's not good for your brain either. That's Neil and I's philosophy. All right. So there are things like diffusing, and I'm going to go over to super, super basics. I'm pointing over here, but you can't see it. Super basics of diffusing and putting oils on you too. So diffusing, one of the questions I get is how many oils. So it depends on you, but in the kitchen where my ceilings are high, I do like 10 drops in there. But in my room, I do like 3 to 5. So that's up to you to play with that. You don't want to be knocking you over, but you do want the benefit, right? So 3 to 5 drops in a small space. And for sleep, like my favorites, either vetiver, frankincense, and lavender, or ylang ylang, wild orange, and frankincense. Like those are the bomb. And if you have any other underlying health issues, guess what? It's helping. It's not a candle. So if you have like blood pressure stuff, ylang ylang, diffusing that is also going to be benefiting you. All right, now let's talk really quickly because now I'm going to go to gut. Gut health is a little bit separate than nutritional support, right? Here I would put in the category of when I was really stressed out, when I had kids really young. You guys have to tell me, because I'm not going to be the only one that tells my bad habits, okay? So you have to tell me in the comments. Anytime I was stressed out, I'd be like, Neil would call me and I would say, hey babe, and he's like, hey, how's your day? I'm like, can you bring me a Coke? Like that was my stress. Like that was what I had to have because my kids were wild and crazy and nothing was getting done that day. And so I would ask for a Coke. That was my stress trigger. And so what is yours? Like, I want to know what yours is. Put in the comments. Is it alcohol? Is it running away in your car and driving? Neil does that. That's his. I'll just tell you his. His is like, I need a minute. And he goes and takes a ride and puts music on. So I don't know what yours is. That's actually probably not a bad one. But if it's sugar, like mine was, your gut health can be out of whack. And sometimes when our immune system is really low, we do something called Symphonia cells, which we have another Zoom call for. And always my first Symphonia cells is not infectious disease, which you might think it is. Loud music and wine. I like that. It's not always infectious disease is not my go-to because the root of inflammation, the root of illness is almost always linked to your gut. And so if your gut biome is off, then pump in probiotics, limit sugar, and even there's a product called GX Assist. So if you're really struggling and having sick, you can take it for like 2 or 3 days just to reset, and it gets rid of anything in there. So we treat it like our antibiotic. It's has oregano and melissa and stuff in it. I go for a walk too, Judy. It's one of my favorite things. And sometimes I bust out in a run. Okay, so sorry, I still feel stopped up. Anyways, the gut. My point in saying that is, I used to always say this on all my lives. If mama's not happy, nobody's happy. And mama is your gut, right? It's the center, it's the brain. And I think you guys know, like, if mama's not happy, everybody's crank. And the reality is that's your life center. So it pushes everything out into your blood, all of your joints. If it's overfilled with yeast and candida, you're going to get sick easier. So there's a lot of things there to think about and just paying attention to that. Good probiotics and lessen sugar. So one of our rules in our house, somebody starts getting sick, pump in probiotics, and oh no, you cannot have that yogurt filled with sugar this week. And no, you cannot have pancakes with syrup for breakfast. So we go with proteins. All right, so hydrate. This is the last key thing on my list is hydrate. And with that, and I don't have it here, but anytime, how many of you knew this? If your nasal passages are dry, germs stick better. Do you guys know that? Have you ever heard of that? Actually, you could Google it. There's lots of things that talk about that. And if you are prone to getting allergies or illnesses, or someone in your house is getting sick, start taking nasal saline and rinsing your sinuses. Keep them moistened, because the germs, the little cilia that are on it, they can't cling to it. But if it's dry, they're like, I'm gonna stick in here and I'm gonna hang out. You don't want that. So the other thing with that is do your nasal saline rinses if you start to feel something, and like make it to where you feel like you're gonna gag. Not kidding. Do one side at a time and then go and blow it all back out, and do it in the shower if you want to. But do it once or twice a day. and you'll relieve inflammation in there. You'll get out any germs. You'll kind of be flushing it. And pump water. Tons of water with like lemon water, or just, you can use the fruit, guys. It's fine to use fruit, but essential oils are about 70 times more potent and they cost less. And so if you put like a pit, like 1 or 2 drops in there, you're doing all the benefit. Plus you can switch it up and do grapefruit and lime, which are fantastic. And lime, by the way, breaks up mucus really well in the sinuses. So grab your breathe oil and put a drop of lime, put your hands together and huff it in and hold it and get rid of all that funk, okay? Now let's dive into the immune boosting support like oil. So I know you guys know this. Judy, you can unmute. Your favorite immune roller. Do you have too many?
I think Breathe is my favorite.
You love the Breathe roller.
Anytime I'm congested, it works so good.
That's awesome. Where do you put it?
I put it around my nose and all around my face, actually. And I just put it and rub it and calm my hands and then take deep breaths, breathe it in. And sometimes I'll rub it on my chest, depending on how bad the congestion is.
Do you dilute it?
No, I haven't.
So since we're talking about the basics of oils too, like how many drops in a diffuser, let's talk about that, because a pro like Judy will put oil. She knows her body enough to know what her body can handle. If my mama put that Breathe on her face, she would be freaking out at me. She would be calling me, why did you give me these oils? This is burning my skin. And so, yes, they need to be diluted if you don't know your skin, or if you have sensitive skin. I'm all about like diluting. And so just take 10, 15 drops and put it in a roller. As a matter of fact, if it's just one oil, I usually put way more, like 30, and make a roller bottle, top it off with coconut oil, fractionated, and just, roll on where you want. Then you roll it on your nose and you don't get that burning sensation. But if you're like Judy and you know your body, hey, more power to you. The thing to notice is we use a lot of oregano in our house, and oils like that we just want to be careful with, because they definitely are hot oils and they can burn. And so we want to have that carrier oil, like little carrier oil, or even lotion would be a great use. So if you've got some on you and it's uncomfortable, grab lotion and rub it right on there, and it'll calm the sensitivity. All right, so let's go over On Guard. So what have I been doing this week with a cold? On Guard on the bottom of my feet, and I just took the On Guard, which, by the way, I just had a conversation yesterday. A lady came over and she has diabetes and thyroid and some hormone issues. And she didn't have cinnamon, which is number 1 oil for diabetes, right? So we gave her, she had On Guard. So we talked about making a roller, put it on the bottom of the feet every single day. And as a matter of fact, I didn't even dilute it if it's on the bottom of my feet. I just put it on there, and it smells good. And guess what? That On Guard roller doubles for her. So as support for her blood sugar and support for her immune system. So that's the power of oils. There's lots of uses. There's maybe a better oil, but there's not a wrong oil. If you could remember that one statement, and then remember, if you don't open them, they don't work. All right, so I did frankincense, lemon. It's called Flume or Flute. Frankincense, lemon, On Guard. I'm going to type it in there for you guys. You're going to hear typing hard. Sorry. 10 drops each. That way you guys can print it out. And then it's frankincense, lemon, On Guard, oregano, and tea tree, which used to be melaleuca, but you could also sub that out and put Melissa if you have it. Melissa is the number 1 antiviral, where that, I didn't use it this week because I didn't feel bad. I just had a cold, right? So I just used my normal frankincense, lemon, On Guard, oregano, and tea tree, 10 drops each in a roller. And it's a recycled roller. And then sorry guys, my Roomba. That is Rosie, my robot, and she's yelling at me because she got stuck. All right, so I put this on the bottom of my feet, my spine, and then anytime I feel it, like yuck, up under my ears and on my throat. So that just helps that lymphatic drainage. And then if I do need to be opened up more, I'm going to use the oils like Judy did. Breathe oil, Digestin is like a trick. You can put it on your sinuses and it's going to drain everything out. But for immune purposes, we want to keep those oils boosting our immune system. So we use the On Guard roller or the Flume roller. We use something called fire water, which is Neil's favorite. Like the minute he feels his sinuses being weird, he's like, it's frankincense, oregano, and tea tree. And then he just puts 1 drop of each, or for him, he'd probably put 2, but I would do 1 in water, like a shot glass size amount of water, shoots it back. And he said the burn makes him feel like it's working. So you need to like spicy stuff. But it goes away quick. It does go away quick. The Melissa that I mentioned, when I had the bad germs coming and they were in our house, I did 1 drop on my thumb, roof of my mouth, every other hour. And that's antiviral. So whatever was happening, and I actually felt so much better within 3 days. Like I was outside, like cleaning out the trash cans, cleaning the car, go feed the chickens 3 days in. And then I still got sick. I still was fatigued and had other things going on, but I don't think that I would have been back that quickly. Can't prove it, you know what I mean? But I don't feel like I would have been if I hadn't been boosting my immune system. I did not bring it in here, but if you look at like what doctors recommend for immune boosting, it is like vitamin D, zinc, vitamin C. There's like so many good things in this. I'm going to grab my notes up just to make sure I tell you guys everything. And beta glucan, it helps maintain a healthy immune system, and it's also a prebiotic. So what that does is, remember we talked about healthy gut, it actually helps to clean out the gut and give a good environment for the bacteria, for the good bacteria. And so all of those things are inside of doTERRA's chewable tablets. And they came out right in the middle of everything. And what that was helpful for me, because I was going to the store every couple months and getting bottles of this stuff, because what did the doctor say? No matter what, we just need to be supporting our immune system, and these are the things you need to take: vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, beta glucan, and quercetin. Like that's the other one that the doctors recommend highly. So it doesn't have quercetin, but it has all the rest. And so for us, it's 1 tablet 3 times a day is the best dose for those tablets. They don't taste bad. They're not too spicy. I actually like them. And all my kids will take them, and they're kind of hard, but they're chewable. And so that's our vitamin now, which is perfect. Now, the other part of that is things like On Guard capsules. You can take the On Guard capsules. They're called On Guard Plus because they have Melissa in it. You could make sure you're doing, if it's stress related, like you feel like you're getting sick because you're stressed a lot, focus on the stress part. If you feel like you're getting sick because you're not sleeping well or you're not eating right, hey, those are underlying foundational items, right? So we have to think about that. But if we're just sick right now, let's just pump the On Guard and the Melissa or the Flume roller or the fire water and like get ourselves back. But for daily things, get the On Guard roller by your bed, out of sight, out of mind. If it's not near you or in your bag or by your sink in the morning, even better. Guess what? You're probably not using it, and you're probably not going to use it. So you got to put it somewhere where you always go. One of the favorite places for my husband is by the coffee pot. Like he's not going to do anything before he does coffee. So he goes straight there, and as it's brewing, he's putting his oils on. And he's like a frankincense and copaiba guy every morning under the tongue. So everybody's different. You're going to find your routine. I'm going to talk about frankincense for a second, and then I'm going to go through, if you want to stay for the protocols for the big viruses. I'm going to go through a few things because it's like Epsom salt baths and stuff, but like 2 or 3 more minutes, and then we're done, guys. But frankincense, this is just like Bio 101, keeping it super simple, because if we understand how our cells work, then we might be able to picture why this works better, right? So just picture, oh, I love the apple. I always do my fist, but I want to pretend my fist is an apple and it's all gnarly. And if you saw my husband's post a couple weeks ago, he actually bit into the apple and there was a half a worm in there because he ate the other half. Like, he's like, you know what's worse than seeing a worm in your apple, a half a worm? It happened finally in our life. And so picture that now, gnarly worm with gnarly apple with a half a worm. And it's like your cells. Because if you have a lot of damage and health issues and you're struggling, your cells are damaged. So frankincense has numerous studies, that show that it helps our cells recycle and come back healthier. So above all oils, I'm going to say use frankincense every single day because it's the king of oils. And what does it do? It tells our cells to do exactly what they were designed to do. And that is do their job and then die off, right? And so when we're struggling with all our symptoms, they're not dying off. They're stuck. And that's what's causing all the symptoms. So we want them to die off and good cells to come back. So get that frankincense in your body in some way, whether you're breathing it or one drop under your tongue every single day. Make a roller, put it on, whatever you're comfortable with. I promise there's not a wrong way. So that's the number one thing. Now, for the immune boost, I will tell you, it is called the C something on my notes. But in my book, anything that is a germ that comes into our body and is foreign and our body is fighting it off, all of these things are going to work for that. Okay. So if you have nerve damage or olfactory issues, there's a protocol to help you get your scent back. Okay. And that actually came out of Columbia University using essential oils, which they told you to go buy at a store. Don't do that because it's actually not essential oils. But you know now where to get really good essential oils, and it's eucalyptus, rose, lemon, and clove, and you just smell them in. It's a smell protocol. And you just take 30 seconds. I don't know if it's the full 30 seconds, but 30 seconds on each side of your nose with each oil, doesn't matter which way, and then do that several times a day. And I already had a couple friends write me back, oh my gosh, it's the first time I smelled in a month. And so yes, it works. All right. This person said, I gave 2 people eucalyptus and told them how to do a steam inhale for 5 minutes, which is just like you can boil water or put a cup of water in a microwave and heat it up, not too hot though. Then you put the towel over your head and just breathe it in. 5 minutes, and you just put 1 drop in there as plenty. And then they were able to actually breathe. That was the first time they were able to breathe, and then their smell started to come back. All right, now you can also use helichrysum and put it on the back of your neck because this helichrysum is nerve and blood vessel support. So just roll it on the back of your neck daily. You can alternate peppermint with Melissa. Remember I was doing Melissa on the roof of my mouth. And basil. So you can make a roller of those 3 and just roll it like on your neck and around your nasal passages right here and breathe it in, or take a little on your finger and put it on the roof of your mouth and just like let it get into your roof of your mouth. So that was Melissa, basil, and peppermint. What was the rosemary and eucalyptus? Okay, so I don't remember saying rosemary, although I do love rosemary for post-nasal drip. I'm gonna go back up. So post-nasal drip is, if you have that for any, even allergies or cold or whatever, rosemary will get rid of it in a minute, and you may have to repeat it, but it helps so fast. 1 drop under the tongue. So eucalyptus was the hood, and it does not say rosemary here, but just for respiratory support, although you could add rosemary if you love it. And then the suggestions for the severe congestion, and if you feel like it's like deep in your chest, was that breathe in the lime in your hand like an inhaler. And then the anti-C roller is 10 drops each, oregano, thyme, frankincense, On Guard, Melissa, Arbor Vitae, Manuka, which you can't buy, guys, so you may have the roller from a special time or a bottle from convention, and then Helichrysum. So all of those oils, if you need it, just message me. But there's a lot of different things on here. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to read you this testimony. And I know that another person used baths. There was a lot of aches and pains. So they did Epsom salts and copaiba and eucalyptus, and it helped tremendously. This person said, I woke up 3 a.m. on 12/1 with my throat, ears, and lungs all hurting. I was out of town and I only had some travel oils with me, but I started using what I had. I was traveling home that day and then leaving on a business trip the next day, and I was miserable, but I kept it at bay until I got home. Long story shorter, I ended up with what I felt. Error 6. Rosie moment. Then press clean to restart. Please open the iRobot Home app for help. Okay, so I ended up with what I felt like was 4 different illnesses. Just when I thought I was finally getting over it, I would get something just a little different. I was pretty sick for 56 days. I never ended up in the hospital or going to the doctor or missing work, but I just didn't feel good and I couldn't get rid of it fully. I was doing a Feel Great challenge it was called 30 Days of Education, and it included using frankincense daily. So the next day I did both frankincense and Terrazyme, and Terrazyme is digestive enzymes, if you didn't know. And in these education videos, they were talking about what they would do when they were getting sick bugs. So I followed their instructions very generously. I put frankincense and breathe all over my chest and feet as far as I could reach up my spine, and I took 3 Terrazyme that night and I went to bed. Woke up the next day with no symptoms. I did it the morning and the night, plus 1 Terrazyme each meal, so 9 Terrazyme a day. Frankincense and breathe on my chest and feet for 7 more days, and I haven't been sick since. I know it's been a few months now, but a crazy few months with lots of illnesses. I will always keep a full bottle of Terrazyme and frankincense on hand in case for now. You should definitely try it. I was completely amazed. So anyways, part of that whole thing was gut. Terrazyme is for the gut, okay? So that is what I have for you guys. Hopefully you learned something new. You know I love your faces. I hope you're doing awesome. I gotta go study or I'm gonna get in trouble. Bye, guys. If you have questions, message me.